Okay folks, it's that time again. It's an all aquarium update. What's changed since December? Find out right after this. Hey YouTube, this is pecktec and it is time again for the all aquarium update. If you're new to the channel, every 6 months I like to take you on a little tour and I show you every aquarium and I give you kind of a status report on how it's doing and maybe some plans. If I got something I want to change about it or that's about to happen with it, I'll tell you about that too. But I only do it every 6 months. I don't really love doing the updates. Keeping all your tanks up to the same level, you know, for one update can be kind of... Of course, it's not the norm for every tank, you know, to be in any state for filming, like all at the same time. I give a little love here, a little love there. I try to hit everything. I do good general maintenance to every aquarium, but I don't always trim the plants and do things like I should on every single tank all the time. It is true that the tanks that get more screen time get a little bit more from me, but overall they get about the same kind of level maintenance, and we'll talk about that in another video. So sit back and relax while we drop a sick beat and I'll tell you about every tank you would meet if you came over to see me at my house. Here we go. I want to start with my most unusual tank. It's the Steampunk Wabikusa tank. And this was very much done with the help of a lot of other people too. Steve, my Uncle Steve, helped me so much with the woodworking and some technical building details. My aquarium box came through with dragonstone that goes inside, and that looks beautiful. They really helped me out when I needed them. Even Purely Aquatic gave me a break on the Wabikusa ball that's on there, and I really love the Wabikusa ball as a filter. I came up with this little method to trim it, which I think is kind of clever. So that tray I'm pulling out is what came with this terrarium base. That's the way it came, was on that piece of wood there. So I just use that as a drip tray. I keep it in the drawer and I pull it out, use that as a drip tray, and I can get to all the plants and trim them. I've trimmed these plants probably I think twice now since I've had this thing, and they keep coming back better and better. It's a really, really neat way to look at plants and very useful too. This is tumbled glass with a LED underneath it, and it really adds a little bit of mystery to the tank. The fish that are inside are peacock gudgeons. They were recommended to me by Rachel O'Leary because they're really curious and they're always up there in the glass flashing and stuff. It's been a great tank. I enjoy looking at it. Next up, we've got this little tiny tank. Now, I built this thing as part of an experimental video I was doing with Wabikusa balls, and I couldn't bear to break it down. It was just kind of cute. So I do have cherry red shrimp in here now, and that's about it. Just some cherry red shrimp. It's about maybe a gallon and a half. Very, very small tank. Just up for fun, just up to make a little tiny garden. Okay, so this is another unique tank that I haven't seen anywhere else. It's my zombie head tank. I'm calling it the Shaun of the Dead tank now because I did a live stream and that was the consensus. That's the name that IFG picked for it. So as you can see, the paint's starting to peel off the face, which makes it look even creepier. The plants are kind of on this slow but steady growth, which is good. Not a lot of algae or anything like that. I like this tank. I'm keeping it mostly empty right now. It's got 2 inlers and just some shrimp in there. Next up, we have the Flex 15 gallon. I'm calling it my Kong Island tank because that's kind of what I was thinking about when I did this aquascape. It's really, really cool. The light's not quite bright enough to really, really grow plants super well, but they're not dying in there. And I think things are starting to balance out. So we're going to let that grow for a little bit longer. Maybe we'll add some fertilizer and see if that helps a little bit. Next up, we have what I'm calling the Simple 10, and I've got these rams in here. They've been in here for a while. They haven't really gone past laying eggs and stuff. This tank has actually been up for a long time, and I think it's due for a rescape. I'd like to either rescape it or change it up with something else, and that'll probably happen in the next few months. Now, this is the dirted 55 gallon tank. It's gone through quite a few changes. As you can see, all that carpet that was on the lower left there, I've just ripped it out. It was just getting too algified. It was kind of a pain to clean it all the time. And see, I've got all these cory cats and other fish that run around the bottom. And I decided just to pull it all out. I've left a few things there to see if maybe they'll grow back, but for the most part I've pulled it out just so they have a little bit more room to run around. It was getting kind of clogged up. They're all kind of confined to these small spaces in the back, but now they've got this whole space in the front, like where the cories can scoot around, look for food, and I think it's a little bit nicer to have them out where I can see them. So, yeah, this tank's still evolving, of course. Although I wish it was a little easier to take care of. It's not doing bad. It's not bad at all. Okay, so next we've got this Speck 2.6 gallon. And I actually rescaped this a while ago, and the intention was to put a betta in there. But I never got around to it. The one I had ended up passing away in the tank that I moved it to next. And so this has just got some cherry red shrimp in it. And it's just like another fun, cool little tiny garden just to kind of keep there next to the chair. This is one of my older planted tanks now. It's the 56 gallon column. This is a tank that came about right as I started making videos about keeping aquariums and stuff, so it's a pretty old video. But it is unchanged since that video. That plant you're looking at there, remember in the 27 gallon cube that you're going to see in a little bit, that's the plant that's basically all over the cube. And the difference in this lower light setting compared to the high light with CO2 setting is pretty amazing. In this tank are some of my bigger fish. Little bushfish is kind of shy there in the back, but the rest of them are rainbows, and there's a Raphael catfish hiding in there somewhere, and also, of course, the bristlenose, like I talked about last week. It's a cool tank. This is the 12 gallon that I did recently with a trim Q&A. We pulled out a bunch of plants, I added that tree and some other stuff. It's got some ember tetras in there, I think are the only fish, and some, of course, cherry shrimp, which are in most of my tanks. Now, I like the escape, but I think the tree's a little bit out of place, like the dwarf sage is a little too tall. So I might pull that tree out, add something else in there. But overall, it's doing really well, and it's a neat tank. And I really enjoy watching those guys swim around. Their ember tetras are really, really cool little fish. And here we are at the 12 gallon edge. This is another tank that I've just recently rescaped. That plant that I put in the middle is like, it's already grown up. And some of the big leaves have already rotted and fallen off and then grown back. This thing's growing like crazy. That plant in the middle is doing really, really well. The dwarf sage is not doing as well. It's not dying out or anything, but it's not really, really growing very much. I ended up putting that sword back in there too, and it stays that exact same shape, that kind of little dwarf rosette there. It's pretty neat. This is the 55 gallon tank, the old 55 gallon tank, and I have no plans for this except for to break it down. Like I said, I'm going to be redoing the floors in here, and very soon I'm going to get another tank to put in the garage. I'm going to move the filters and the fish and some of these plants over there. Now, a lot of these plants don't need to be rooted in, so I'm hoping I can just transfer all that stuff to another tank to hold, then bring it all back into a much bigger tank. Over here we have the 27 gallon cube. It's the only tank I have with CO2 injection. I don't add any fertilizers right now. It's got a Kessel light, an older Kessel freshwater light on top. And it's really neat. I'm not sure if I'll be able to keep it when I move all my aquariums out. I might have to sell it or break it down, or kind of break it down and start over. I'm not sure. But it's pretty fun to have a slice of jungle in your living room. Now, my last tank is the Speck 5 gallon, the mini gardens. One of the mini gardens I went ahead and removed, and I just kept the two. Of course, the one on the left there with dwarf sage, it has gone out the bottom and now is grown all over the left side. So it's already kind of moved from the little garden hanging up all the way over to the left side. And as you can see, the smaller one's wanting to pull away from the wall. It's fallen off twice, but I just keep sticking it back up there. But the bigger one wasn't doing too well. I've sort of replaced some of the plants in there, but it's a really neat tank. And as we go outside, we're going to see the garden pond. And now recently I've installed this bog filter you see at the top with all those bog plants and stuff like that. That to me has been really successful. I've really enjoyed having that kind of reclaimed pond. The water though seemed pretty brown, so I'm not sure if it's the water running through these plants that's causing that, or if it's all the torrential rains we've been having lately. Overall, all the other plants around the pond are doing really well, and it's been really neat. I really enjoyed messing with some kind of different types of plants and just a whole different environment. Now this next tank technically isn't mine. This is Kerrigan's little speck, and she set it up when we were demonstrating those aqua vitro tools together, and I just wanted to show you guys the progress. Again, there's no fish or shrimp in this tank. It's just set up to be a little mini garden there next to her bed, and eventually we probably will add something in there, but for now we've got this kind of duckweed problem we'd like to kind of fix before we go adding fish. So it's just a neat little garden for now. Now as we look into the future, I've got this 20-gallon I keep talking about, and I'm looking for a place to put that right now. It's going to either go on the wall or it's going to go here behind my desk. And also we've got a mystery tank that hopefully you guys will find out about next week. Hey, and that's the tour. I hope you guys liked it. Feel free to comment down below and let me know which one was your favorite. Did you have one that you liked better than the others? But if you had questions about anything you saw, just feel free to throw them at me. I'll do my best to answer. We got a few surprises coming up really fast. It's another tank, and it's going to be Kerrigan's. Kerrigan's putting it together. We're going to unbox it on my channel, and she'll do updates and tell you about new things with it on her channel if you choose to subscribe to learn more about it. But it's pretty cool. It's coming up next week, and I promise it'll make more sense. I love doing the live feeds on Wednesday, but sometimes it's like, I'd rather just make a quick video. This week it was a vlog about eating potatoes. But yeah, there'll definitely be some more. I've got some kind of funny things planned, so I don't want to give too much away. But it's all coming up real soon. Till next time, follow your bliss. Keep a clean tank, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Okay, folks, it's that time again. It's that time again. Hey YouTube, this is pecktec, and so why don't we drop a sick beat? So I can tell you about these tanks, yo? So sit back and relax while we drop. Sit back and relax while we drop. So sit back and relax while we drop a sick beat. Oh, I'm sick.